What is the importance of shipment visibility? I'm joined today by Sam Phillips. He is Senior Solutions Manager with Here Technologies. Hello, Sam.
Hello, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for being with me. So what is the importance and the relevance of shipment visibility?
Yeah, I think a lot of companies have struggled with this overall kind of concept of seeing where anything is at any given time. It's a very difficult thing to do because the routes, the traffic, the transportation, the different modes break it up, and it's not a singularity. And I think the importance is not just about seeing where something is, it's really what's going on with it at any given time as well. So the conditions, aspects of it, etc., really plays into the bigger picture of shipment visibility and these control tower type mentalities that companies now have.
Okay, so let's drill down a little more to what might we want to look at other than simply where it is. You said condition, what else exactly?
Yeah, so let's think of examples if you're dealing with food produce or perishables or anything that has a shelf life. If it's in transit and say the refrigeration unit fails on that, we need the telemetry to say it's gone out of a specification or a tolerance. So then now I know where it is, but I also know the condition, which leads me to try and make a decision. Do I continue transporting it to the original destination? Should I change the route, or do I optimize knowing that the product is now going to be in a perish state, for example, and it needs to go to recycling or for a different purpose than was first intended? When we talk about additional information, the conditional elements, where it is, what condition, when it's going to get to there, start to play this bigger data role in terms of information that you need on products and assets and the shipment process and visibility itself.
The ability to make such decisions while cargo is en route sounds like almost a fantasy. Is it in fact a reality, or are we talking about something we aspire to happen?
I think it's aspirational at this point, but it's not far from us. I think if you look at the platforms and the way that we can ingest more and more data from different sources, the ability to manipulate and orchestrate that information into not really statistical-based decisions, but as close to real time or at the speed of a decision is made, to decide on routing, if I can optimize that route, given the potential utilization of that product in the event that it's gone past its original intent. We're not far from that point because we've got the environment to support the data. We can ingest the data. We have the algorithms to make this science. It's really the collective of bringing this whole thing together. And that's why I say shipment visibility is not really about where something is. You have to ask the question, so what? Or what's next?
What are we going to do about it now that we know?
What do you do? Exactly.
Of course, if something is stuck on a container ship deep in the hold in mid-ocean, it's not like you can take action immediately, but I guess you can prepare for when it does hit land. You might want to do something different with it than you were originally intending, right?
Absolutely. I think, again, the issue in the Suez Canal with the ship recently, there's one thing out of that is that don't make a ship longer than the river is wider. But the fact is that it held up all of the cargo, the vessels, etc. We had shipping companies in the ocean decided, I'm not going to take that route now. We have other companies having to decide, well, that's not going to make it in time for my production, therefore I need to send a second shipment. But it's the knock-on effect. And even to that point, if you have flexible manufacturing that was waiting for something that was coming on that ship that you're now not going to get, how do I reorchestrate and rearrange the production sequences through my plant to take advantage of inventory that I can get or I can produce? So these are these overall questions about the so what. It's what do I do next in terms of the whole ecosystem or value chain.
Doesn't it seem like the awareness of the need for that is heightened by the experience of the last year and a half, as so many supply chains were disrupted and such decisions were really called for, whether or not they could be made at the time?
I think it's incredible. I mean, COVID just woke us up, right? And every anomaly, we have earthquakes today, we had volcanoes going off this week that haven't gone off in I don't know how many centuries. But this all affects the supply chain and the value chains that these companies has, and it just goes to demonstrate how fragile the models are, because we have no preparation to do true prediction. All of these things have caught us literally with our pants down. But now we've got to decide, okay, how do we do it, and how do we reinforce actions going forward to prevent the catastrophes that are now happening. A great example is in the automotive. I'm from Detroit, so I live in the Basin. I've worked in automotive manufacturing since 1979. Mm-hmm. But to know that I can't get chips for vehicles, so I'm using control modules from one vehicle to move it out of the plant to make it drivable, then I'm having to take that control module back into the plant to drive out the next 200, 300 vehicles into storage. Then we had the flood in Detroit, which basically wiped out for many OEMs inventories of vehicles, 6,000 vehicles that are caught that have no use now because we don't have the chips. So all of this kind of prediction, we don't have to know the event, we have to know what to do when events occur.
Yeah.
And that's the context of shipment visibility. It's not just about where is it,
but again,
what happens next.
You seem to be talking about something that is happening now. Are you saying that automakers are actually able to achieve this to some degree based on what's been happening?
It's limited, and I think it's, like I said, it's woken us up. I think it's accelerating to the point where we're going beyond reactive actions to predictive. And I think the elements of putting all this information from many different sources, whether it's our source as a company, whether it's a weather feed, whether it's news on the roads, even down to detecting where a pothole is or construction is on a road. Take this exhibition, for example, at Atlanta. It's a beautiful venue, but the roads are all under construction around the venue. So I talked to the men on the ground, the people that are in the docking station, etc., waiting for deliveries that are not there. So now they're standing around waiting. Mm-hmm. When they could have more productive, useful operational efficiencies than just saying, it hasn't arrived, do I just wait for it?
Right.
And I think the companies are in this awakening phase to say, we've got to get sharper about the decision criteria, the algorithms, and the fact that there's so many data sources out there, we're now figuring out how to use them. And I think we're at that kind of dawn of prediction versus reaction.
So Sam, how is Here Technologies specifically reacting to this experience that supply chains are undergoing right now?
Yeah, great. So a little history. Here was originally Navtech and Nokia, been around since 1985. We've certainly transformed our own company into a platform context company and a location services company. We have many, many different data feeds that we either generate from the mapping perspective and the attributes of a map, points of interest, or the attribution of those points of interest from working hours to opening hours to location, how do you get there, the proximity, relational information. But we add different context as well. We add live streams of weather to our information. So we have an operational center. We have about 80 billion API calls on a monthly basis to support about 45 different use case scenarios in the company. And we're expanding. We're going into the enterprise, the value chain, and looking more and more about the data that we have, how we combine that information with other data to orchestrate and manipulate it into value information. And us moving to a platform location company based on a platform allows us easy ingestion, easy manipulation of that data, but again, redistribution. And to support the customers, not only for our own benefit, but also for theirs, they need environments where they need to take their own data, combine it with others, and then either utilize it for their own good or remarket it and resell it, because this proliferation of information, once converted to improve what is now general problems rather than an individual company's problem, is a key move that we've made. Yeah.
Sam Phillips, thank you so much for sitting down with me to talk about just what the importance of true shipment visibility is. Really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time too. Really enjoyed it.
I was speaking with Sam Phillips of Here Technologies. Thank you very much for watching.